Hey everyone! In today's longer practice, we are going to be playing with some forward bends. In particular, we're working towards our Uttanasana, our standing forward folds, which I'm sure most of you will know, but we're going to be playing with a more challenging variation of this. We'll also have the option for Tittibhasana, our Firefly Pose, which is actually an arm balance. What you can expect is quite a bit of opening through the back of the body, so hamstrings, back of the spine, as well as strengthening through the front of the hips, because we have to remember that when we're trying to achieve a deeper range of motion within a certain position, it's not just about flexibility, it's also about strengthening the opposing muscles. Now, forward folds are quite introspective. It's when we turn inwards and we reduce external noise. And this reminded me of this yogic concept of Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya basically means right use of energy, and it links quite well with abstaining, especially, well, it's more traditionally known as abstaining from sexual practices, but it can really be used in abstaining from anything that kind of distracts ourselves, or where we kind of indulge ourselves. And I think especially in this day and age when we've got our phones, we've got social media that are designed to kind of suck us in and drain our energy, Brahmacharya is really important. It's this discipline of abstaining from those things, even if it's uncomfortable. Like, sitting in stillness is not very comfortable, but it's important, because it means that we can be more clear-headed, we can feel more centered, more grounded, and not as distracted. So we're going to be kind of playing with that concept along the way within our practice too. We're going to start with some pranayama, which is breath work. And if you wanted to sit up on a block or two, then please feel free to. We're going to be using these a little bit in our practice today, so might be useful to bring them in. You can be cross-legged. What am I doing? I'm just going to sit up on one block. You can be cross-legged, you could be kneeling. It's just whatever feels comfortable. If you're feeling a little lower in energy, you can also lie down on your back. Sit up nice and tall if you're sitting with me. Roll the shoulders back and down. Close down the eyes. And start to focus on your breath. Noticing your breath ins, your inhales through the nose. Noticing your exhales through the nose. And already bringing this attention to our breath helps us to focus the mind. Especially when we kind of close down the eyes, we're reducing external distraction, so we can tune in more closely with what's going on for us. And in our practice today, you might experience moments of discomfort, in particular mental discomfort, where you want to be distracted, you want your energy to be sucked in. And we have to remember that actually being uncomfortable, being bored, being non-stimulated is really important for us. It's really important for our brain. It's really important for our nervous system. So I encourage you, if you find these moments, to sit with them, to be in them, rather than giving into the impulse of trying to distract yourself. The pranayama technique we're going to practice is a simple breath retention, holding our breath. What we'll do is that we'll initially practice the hold after the inhale. And then after a few rounds like this, you may choose to practice the breath hold After the exhale, this becomes a little bit more challenging. Before we begin, let's breathe in through the nose. Fill up the belly, the ribs, the chest. Exhale through the nose. Feeling your lungs deflate. Inhale through the nose. Hold the breath. And then breathing out through the nose. You might take a couple of neutrals, inhales and exhales before rolling into the next breath, or if you want to go straight into another breath hold, you absolutely can. It's just whatever you feel most comfortable with. And as you do hold the breath, just notice where you can soften. Notice where you're holding tension. And see if you can relax that. We'll go about 2 more rounds. If you wanted to try the breath hold after the exhale, feel free to try it on these 2. If you wanted to extend your breath, hold for longer, you can. If you want to shorten it, you can. Once you've completed 2 rounds, just returning to more neutral inhales and exhales. Can you notice how that felt for you? What it felt like to abstain from any sort of movement, any sort of action, not even breathing, just holding. What did that feel like for you? Let's gently open the eyes. If you're sitting up on something, let's remove it to the side. We'll come into Baddha Konasana, bound ankle pose. So bring the soles of the feet together, take the knees out wide, hands around the ankles. Breathe in, lift up nice and tall. As you breathe out, folding forward. Relax the head. Maybe there's a little bob up and down. If your elbows can meet the insides of the legs, you might push them down slightly, helping to open through the hips. We're not only going to be opening through the hamstrings today, but also the adductors, the inner of the thighs, which will be useful for Firefly Pose if you are choosing to go there. Walk yourself up. Extend your left foot out, right foot to the inner thigh. Now for this one, you just want to kind of shuffle back a little bit so that your right knee is on the mat, especially if you're on a wooden floor like me. If you're on carpet, probably doesn't matter as much because we are going to come up onto our knee eventually. So you might think left foot to the right corner of your mat. Bend your left knee a little bit here. Breathe in, lift the arms up high. As you exhale, forward fold. And maybe hands reach down the leg. They might be able to reach the feet. Relax the head. And the bend of the knee is just going to help us get a little further forward, especially on the first couple. Lift yourself up, breathe in, arms over your head. Turn the chest towards the right thigh. As you exhale, place both of your hands off the side of the mat. Lift yourself up onto your right knee. So you're kind of thinking like a half straddle here. Breathe in, reach the left hand up to the sky. As you exhale, thread the needle. Right hand threads to the right. Drop the left shoulder in the direction of the ground. Just know that it's not going to, or most likely it's not going to touch all the way down. Breathe in, lift the left hand back high. As you exhale, drop the hips back down. Reach the right hand high again, breathe in. As we exhale, let's fold forward. Back into our Uttanasana, our head to knee pose. Breathe in, lift up. Turn the chest. As you exhale, both hands come down. Shift yourself forward. Breathe in, left hand comes high. As you exhale, thread the needle, hinging from your hips. So we try to keep the lower back quite long here. Breathe in, lift the left hand. As you exhale, sink your hips down. Let's go 2 more times. Breathing in. Breathing out, reaching and leaning forward. Breathing in, lift up. Lengthen through your lower back. Exhale, hands come off. Left hand reaches high, breathe in. Exhale to twist, feeling all this length through the back of the body. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down. One more time in your own breath. And once you're down on the ground, let's swap the legs over. So you might shuffle yourself around, right foot maybe to the left corner of the mat, left foot to the right inner thigh. Bend your right knee, breathe in, lift up nice and tall. As you exhale, fold forward. Let's take another couple breaths here. Relaxing the head and the upper back. If this is feeling comfortable, you could probably slide your right foot forward a little more, lengthening the right leg. Breathe in, lift both of your arms back up to the sky. Turn the chest towards the left leg. As you exhale, shift onto your left shin, both hands come down. Breathe in, right hand reaches high, lengthen your back. As you exhale, twist the right hand through to the left, dropping the right shoulder down. Reach your right hand back up, breathe in. As you exhale, lower your hips down. Breathe in, lift up tall. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Turn, exhale, plant the hands down. Breathe in, right hand high. Maybe look up to your right thumb, and then as you exhale, let's twist. Maybe keeping the eye gaze on the right thumb again. Inhale, right hand high. Exhale, low. One more time, I think, in your own breath, maybe two. I think it is one more. See, this is what happens when you get distracted. I was just hearing something outside. Mind wanders off. You completely forget about what you're doing. I guess that's why yoga is so good. It helps us to notice when we've done that. Come down onto your hips. Savasana, boat pose. Now you can have your hands around your thighs as you lift your feet off, maybe shins parallel with the ground, or you might reach your toes up. Reach your hands forward if you want, or you can keep the hands around the thighs. Try to squeeze the shoulder blades back, lift up through the center of the chest. Eye gaze your drishti towards your big toes. We are going to be using our drishti a lot today because it helps us to anchor our focus, reducing external distraction. 2 more slow breaths. Feeling lots of fire, lots of warmth through the hip flexors. Child's pose. Maybe cross your feet over, plant your hands down, shuffle your knees back. Bring your knees towards each other as you sink your hips towards your heels. Take a moment here. Breathing in through the nose, feeling the sides of the ribs, the back of the ribs expand. As you breathe out, just getting heavy through the head. Walk your fingertips a little more forward. Lift the elbows from the ground. Use your next breath in to roll forward. Imagine your cat pose as you shift your shoulders on top of your wrists. As you exhale, imagine your cow pose as you lift your hips up and back, sending them back to your heels. Try it again, breathing in, rolling forward. And then as you exhale, lift it up and back. Just starting to bring a bit more warmth through the spine, as well as the wrists. If you felt like a little more, you could lower your hips towards the ground, maybe for cobra or a variation of it. Elbows can be bent or long. One more option, if you're feeling pretty good, you could come into downward facing dog and do the same thing. So rolling forward on your breath in. Maybe you'll lower your hips down and then lifting back up. Let's go 2 more breaths like this. And eventually we'll come down onto our belly. So you might roll forward. Maybe lowering the hips for cobra and then coming back down. We're going to hold cobra for a couple of breaths. So hands by the ribs, squeezing glutes, lifting your chest up. Another great option here is Sphinx pose, elbows underneath the shoulder. Lengthening the legs, pointing the toes, squeezing the back of the glutes and the hamstrings. One more breath in as we lift through the center of the chest. As you exhale, lower down. Downward facing dog, push yourself up, tuck your toes, and then lift your hips up and back. Tuck your chin in, bringing your eye gaze in between your feet or maybe slightly behind you. Maybe you pedal out the feet, dropping one heel down, dropping the other heel down. Lengthening the spine, tilting your pelvis forward to help find a long back. Lift up your heels, look forward, tippy-toe your feet outside your hands. So you might be to the edge of your mat if you had one. Let's come into a forward fold here. Bend your knees. Lift your hips up high, tuck your chin in towards the chest. You might find ragdoll, clasping opposite elbows with the hands, taking a little shift from side to side, helping to lengthen through the back of the legs, the back of the spine. Come back through center, hands to the shins, lengthen the back as you breathe in, lifting halfway. As you exhale, fold forward. Rise up through standing, round the back, breathe in, arms come over your head, squeeze your glutes. As you exhale, dive it back down, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, breathing in, hands to shins. As you exhale, hands come down. Depending on where your feet are, your hands might come in front of your feet or on the insides of your feet. Just step back into a plank position. Breathe in, shift your weight forward, come high onto your toes. As you exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, tuck your elbows in by your ribs. Maybe you come down for belly for cobra or upward facing dog with your knees and your hips off the ground. Breathe in as you lift up nice and tall, push your hands down into the ground. As you exhale, come up and back, downward facing dog. You can also come into child's pose at any point as well. One more breath here. Okay, let's step our right foot outside our right hand, breathing in, breathing out, stepping our left foot outside the left hand, forward fold, halfway lift, breathing in, breathing out, forward fold. Breathe in, round the back, come up through standing. Maybe there's a little back bend if that feels good. Breathe in. As you breathe out, dive it down. Halfway lift, inhale. As you exhale, you can bring your hands down. You can step or hop back through a plank or chaturanga. Moving through your vinyasa sequence in whatever way feels good for you. You can either step your feet outside your hands if you felt like a little more. You can bend your knees, look forward. I said bend your knees again. What's up with my words today? Hop your feet outside your hands. Halfway lift, breathe in. Breathe out, fold forward. Rise up through standing, breathe in. Breathe out, dive it down. Halfway lift, breathe in. Breathe out, hands down, step or hop back through your vinyasa. One more breath. Let's try that one more time, breathing in, making your way forward. Halfway lift, exhale, fold forward. Rise through standing, breathe in, push your feet down, lift through the fingertips, maybe eye gaze to thumbs. As you exhale, dive it down again. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, hands down, your vinyasa back. This time, let's find child's pose. Bring your knees down, sink your hips back. Take about 3 breaths here. If you had your blocks, we're just going to bring one block to the back of the mat, which we might pick up a little later on in our practice. No worries if not. And then when you're ready, let's come back into downward facing dog, lifting your hips up and back. We're going to learn our new sequence, our main sequence here. First time we're going to take it a little slower. Second time we're going to bring in a little bit more flow. Let's make our way forward, taking feet outside the hands, maybe hopping or maybe stepping. This time we come into a squat. Bend your knees, hips in line with the knees or slightly higher. Bring your arms forward. Squeeze your shoulder blades back. Let's hold here for one breath. Bring your left hand down on the inside of the left foot. You might be on fingertips, you might be on your palm, you also might be on a block here. Breathe in as you reach your right hand up to the sky. As you breathe out, hold. Look down to the ground. We step our left foot back to a twisted lunge. Long step back. If you're on a block, you can remove it now. A couple of different options. You can have your left knee down for more support. If you felt like a little more, you can try horizon pose. Turning both of your toes towards the right, dropping the left heel down. Maybe you stay more lifted with your hips, or you can drop your hips towards the ground. Reach the right hand towards the back of the mat. Use your next breath and lift yourself up. As you exhale, reaching pyramid. Lengthen your legs, right hand reaches towards your left big toe. So you want to slide the shoulder almost like you're trying to get it on the inside of the right thigh. Just make sure that right knee's not locking out. We want a little micro bend here. Walk to the left side of your mat, wide-legged forward fold. Adjust your stance as you need so that the feet are even with each other. And then tuck your chin in, fold yourself down. Feet, toes are either at the side of the mat. Sorry, they're facing forward or they're tucked in slightly, pigeon-toed. One more breath. Roll yourself up through standing. Lift your arms above your head on your breath in. As you exhale, turn your left toes to the back of the mat, arms out wide, setting up for Trikonasana. This is where you can use a block as well if you would prefer. Breathe in, push your hips to the right. Send your left hand to the back of the mat. As you exhale, left hand maybe on a block, maybe higher, maybe lower on the leg, depending on what feels good for you. We want to lift tall through the spine, so reach the crown of the head forward, push your hips back. Roll the right hip back, your left hip underneath. Same with the shoulders. Get light through that left hand. Let's go one more breath. Look down to the ground, right hand comes down, twisted lunge. Hop that right foot back, breathe in as you lift your left hand high. Exhale to hold. Remember, you can stay here. If you wanted to try horizon pose, drop the right heel down, turn the toes towards the left, reach the left hand to the back. Use your next breath in to lift your hips up. Turn to your left foot. As you exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand, squat. Sink your hips down, reach your arms forward. Feel your quads and your glutes engage. Breathe in, lift up, eye gaze towards the thumbs if that feels good. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. As you exhale, bring the hands down, your vinyasa if you want. At any point, you can also skip it out. So we're now facing the back of the mat. Let's take one more breath here. Bend your knees, look forward. We either step or we hop our feet outside our hands. Coming into your squat, bending your knees, reaching your arms forward. Right hand comes down to the ground on the inside of the right foot or onto a block. Breathe in, reach your left hand high. Exhale to hold. We want to maintain a long spine, so if it helps, come up a little higher. Keep pressing that right knee out. Look down to the ground, so our right foot steps back for twisted lunge. Breathe in, open the chest. Maybe you stay here as you exhale, horizon lunge. Turn the toes, drop the hips down. Inhale as you lift up. Exhale, reaching pyramid. Left hand reaches towards the right big toe. So again, we lengthen that left leg, but make sure we're not locking out the knee joint. Tuck your chin in and look towards your right big toe. Wide-legged forward fold, plus Uttanasana. We turn our feet around. Hang heavy through the upper body. See if you can shift some weight into your toes so we help activate through the back of the legs. Rise through standing. Breathe in, arms over your head. As you exhale, right toes turn forward, arms out wide. Breathe in as you push your hips back. Reach the right arm forward. As we exhale, Trikonasana. Again, adjust your hand as you need. Use your block if you want. A little push of the hips forward. Tuck your ribs towards the hips. And maybe bring your eye gaze towards your left thumb. At any point, you can bring it to the side of the room as well. Look down to the ground, left hand plants down, a little hop back with your left foot, twisted lunge. Breathe in, reach your right hand high. Maybe stay here as you exhale, turn your toes, horizon lunge. Lower your hips down. Breathe in, lift your hips up, look to the front. As you exhale, step your left foot outside your left hand, bend your knees for your squat. Breathe in, lift all the way up. Maybe there's a little back bend. As you exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, hands down, vinyasa back. Okay, one more time with that sequence. We're going to flow it a little more, add on some options along the way. Bend your knees, look forward, make your way forward. Coming to your squat, breathing in, breathing out, sinking a little lower. Left hand comes down, breathe in, open the chest, right hand high. Keep pulling your left hip back, exhale. Look down to the ground, left foot steps back, twisted lunge, breathe in. As you exhale, maybe horizon. Lift your hips up, breathe in, reaching pyramid. Exhale, right hand reaches back, maybe it touches the left big toe. Keep walking yourself around, wide-legged forward fold, breathing in, breathing out, maybe holding on the outsides of the legs to help drop the chest a little lower. Roll up through standing, breathe in, arms over your head. This time we're setting up for twisted triangle pose. Hop your right foot to the side of the mat a little more. Turn your hips towards the back. Okay, this little hop out to the right is just going to help us turn our hips and turn our spine. Breathe in, lift up nice and tall. As we exhale, twist the chest towards the left. Maybe right hand comes down to a block on the inside of the foot or the outside of the foot. If you don't have a block, then maybe it's up onto the shin or the thigh. Keeping the back nice and long. Eye gaze maybe to the side of the room if you're feeling really good, maybe up towards your left thumb. One more breath. Keep this twist for twisted lunge. Right hand plants down, right foot hops back, breathe in. You might need to wiggle that left foot out a little more. As you exhale, maybe horizon lunge. Inhale, lift up. As you exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand for your squat. Breathe in, lift all the way up. As you exhale, dive it down. Halfway lift, breathe in. This time option for our crow pose, our kakasana, before we come back into our vinyasa. So you'll bring your hands shoulder width distance. Bend your elbows back, bring knees to the outs on top of the elbows, the backs of the arm. You might stay with your feet down. You might try lift 1 or 2 feet off. You really want to try bend your knees here because the more you bend the knees, the more you've got your kneecap on the back of the arm, which makes it a little bit easier to balance with. So keep lifting your feet up high. And then if you want to try a jump back into your chaturanga, you're going to try bend the elbows by the time that your feet land at the back of the mat. Flowing through your vinyasa in your own time. Take 2 breaths at the back. Make your way forward into your squat. Lifting the arms up, breathe in, breathe out. Right hand, right fingertips, right hand on block. Let's twist, breathe in, left hand high. Keep moving your right hip back, breathe out. Look down, twisted lunge, right foot steps back, breathe in. Turn the chest to the left. As you exhale, maybe horizon. Inhale, lift the hips. Pivot on your toes, exhale, reaching pyramid. Wide-legged forward fold, plus Uttanasana, breathe in. Breathe out, maybe hands around the outsides of the legs. Roll up through standing, breathe in. As you exhale, set up for twisted triangle. Maybe hop that left foot to the left. Turn the hips towards the front. Breathe in, reach the left hand forward as you turn your chest to the right. As you exhale, maybe hand down to a block. Maybe you're on fingertips, maybe you're on the leg. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades back, hinging from the hips. And once you've found your position, you find your drishti, your focal point. One more breath. Look down to the ground, left hand on the inside of the right foot. Step the left foot back, breathe in. As you exhale, maybe horizon. Inhale, lift up. Look forward, exhale, step your left foot wide. Come into your squat, breathe in. Breathe out. Rise all the way up, breathe in. Maybe there's a little back bend. Exhale to fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Optional crow pose before we send it back. Keep puffing up through your upper back. So we want to flex our spine here. This is going to be really useful for if we're trying Firefly a little later on. One more breath. Maybe there's a jump back here. Let's come into child's pose eventually. So knees down, hips back. Okay, warm yourself up. Sit yourself down on your hips. Take your feet out wide. Now we're going to do a little bit more strengthening through our hip flexors, through the front of the body. I find these next set of exercise quite challenging, but fun to play with. What you're going to do is bring your fingertips forward. We want to lift up through the back, and there's a little round to the shoulders. And we'll just start with lifting one leg off the ground for about 5 seconds. So maybe you try your right leg first, taking about 2 to 3 really slow breaths here. And then bringing that back down. You might just use your hand or leg just to jiggle out any of that tension. It's very normal to get cramps here. If you've done the right, let's try the left. Breathing in, lifting up the left foot. Exhaling to hold. Take another breath in. Exhale, come down. Little shake out. We're going to do that 4 more times. You can alternate between right and left, or if you wanted to try double leg, you can as well. So breathe in, maybe double legs up. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, coming down. Whew. So you want to try keep the spine relatively long here. The more we round our back, the easier it becomes. If you need a little bit of help, maybe you lean back a little bit and round, but we want the strength to come from our hip flexors. So as best as you can, stay lifted. Okay, round 4 of 6. Come down. Okay, 2 more in your own time. Whew. That was fun. Let's come down onto our belly once you're done, just to kind of release through the front of the legs. You might just bring your hands underneath your head, maybe just kind of wiggle the hips from side to side. Maybe you squeeze the glutes and kind of tuck the tail, lifting like you're about to lift the belly off, just to help extend through the hips. And then bring your hands in by your ribs, push up onto your knees. Come into a standing position. So we're going to practice our peak poses here, our Uttanasana and our Firefly. Now, we'll start with our Uttanasana. We've got 2 rounds, so we'll try Firefly if you want on the second round. Start with your feet wide, how you've been doing it before, and then bend your knees, fold forward. Now you can stay like this. If you did feel like a little more, what you're going to try and do is bring your hands behind the back of the calves, so like in between the thumb and the index finger. Bend your knees, and you're going to try wiggle your shoulders as close as you can towards kind of your knee creases. And you'll notice even just like having this anchoring of the shoulders gets you a little further into this forward fold. From there, you could start to lengthen your legs. One more option for anyone who wanted to try. I'm not sure if I can do this, but you'll try take your hands out and then, ooh, that was nice. You'll try bring your hands behind each other, towards each other in the back. Take about 3 more breaths wherever you are. And then just release the arms. Whew. Slowly roll yourself up through standing. Oftentimes when I'm upside down for a while like that, I can get quite lightheaded and feel like I'm going to faint. So we just want to make sure that we feel okay. You roll the shoulders back and down. Maybe you move your hips around in a little bit of a circle. Just make sure you squeeze your glutes as you push your hips forward. Just to help counter that forward bend. So you can practice that again. I'll also show you how you can find Firefly Pose or another balance option, which is our Bhujapidasana, our shoulder pressure pose. So you'll kind of start in the same way where you have your feet wide and you want to try to bring your hands down behind your feet. Now you want to get the shoulders up as high as you can on your thighs. When you sink your hips down, your triceps, your upper arm is going to support your thighs. Walk your feet towards each other. And then from there, you're going to try cross the ankles over. So this is our shoulder pressure pose. If you wanted to go into Firefly Pose from there, you'll basically just lengthen your legs out long, lifting up through your upper back. So lots of strength through the front of the hips, through the wrists, through the arms. From the core, of course, Lots of length through the back of the body, the hamstrings. Give that a go if you wanted to. If you did just play, you can always just shake out the wrists. Maybe go for it again. Eventually, we're going to come down onto our bellies again. So wander yourself down. Maybe stacking hands underneath the head again. Maybe just kind of shake out the hips. You could also have hands by the sides. Side of the temple down. Notice how that felt for the body. Notice how that felt for the mind, for our energy. Are there any thoughts or feelings in particular that are kind of on play at the moment? From here, we're going to finish with a couple of asanas that open more through the front of the body because we've done a lot of forward folding today. We're going to start with our chest stretch. Let's start by taking the left hand out in line with the left shoulder, right hand by the right rib, turning your right toes up to the sky. And then push through your right hand, roll onto your left shoulder as you take your right foot behind your left thigh. You can push through the right hand really gently just to help roll that right shoulder back. Slow breaths here. At any point, if this becomes quite intense for the left chest, the left shoulder, you can bring your left hand up to the front so that your biceps in the air, and that's just going to completely remove any of the arm stuff. One more breath. Come back through center. Your left elbow is going to come onto the ground, kind of almost like you're reaching towards the right corner of your mat. Imagine like half sphinx. Bend your right knee and then take your right hand around to the right ankle. Maybe you'd like to try an inward grip and just notice how that changes the arm, the shoulder position, so it gets a little bit more through the front of the chest. A little squeeze of the glutes. And if you had the openness to do so, you can turn this into kind of half frog, which is where you take your hand on the top of the foot and you're going to try wrap your fingers underneath your toes. And just notice when I do that how my elbow lifts up. We want eventually for the elbow to become vertical because that helps us to push our foot down, getting more of a stretch through the front of the quadricep. Let's go one more breath. Let's release the foot. Let's do that all on the other side. Right hand out, left hand by the ribs, left toes turn high, roll onto your right shoulder. One more breath. Roll yourself back. Bring your right elbow down, your right forearm down under the shoulder, and then turn the hand towards the left. Left hand reaches back, maybe for the inside of the foot. You can kind of just gently pull it in. Maybe there's a little squeeze of the glutes. If you had the space to do so, maybe the hand comes on top, fingertips wrap underneath the toes, lifting an elbow up, and then pushing the foot down. Two more breaths. If it feels good, you can lift the chest up a little taller, keep pushing the forearm down, helping to get a bit more back extension. And then releasing the left hand, the left foot. Just roll it onto one side and then onto your back. Find happy baby, taking your knees out wide. And maybe you just hold around the shins. If you did feel like it, you could take the hands to the outsides of the feet. Feeling the shoulder blades squeeze down to the ground. Feel the tailbone pull down as well, so that the whole of the spine, as best as we can, is on the ground. One more breath. If there are any final positions you'd like to take before Savasana, this is a beautiful time to find that. Otherwise, you might like to extend your legs out long, letting the toes, the knees, letting them roll out. The scooping of the shoulder blades underneath the back to just help open through the front of the chest slightly. A little tuck of the tailbone so that the lower back is long. And close down your eyes when you feel ready. Helping us to turn inwards again. To take this moment of pause. To integrate our practice, to reflect on our experience, our physical experience, our more energetic experience. And I encourage you, just like I said at the very beginning, if you feel a lot of discomfort in sitting here, lying here in stillness, just know that that is a good thing. We're not meant to always be indulging in our body and our mind, and being uncomfortable, being bored, being restless is an important part of the process. Pain is important. And Brahmacharya, or this abstaining from our desires, from pleasure, from indulgence, allows us to see that. And just be here for another few minutes. Slow down the breath. Let the body become heavy. Notice where you can soften. And I'll let you know when it's time to transition out. And just start to come back to the breath. And taking a deeper breath in through the nose. And maybe a sigh out of the mouth. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers. Maybe take a full body stretch, reaching the arms above your head, extending your toes out long. And then squeeze your knees towards your chest. Give yourself a little hug. And then grab the back of your legs, roll yourself up. Maybe turning yourself back to the front, crossing your legs over. Lift up nice and tall, breathe in. Sigh out of the mouth again. Let it go. Thank you, my friends. I hope you really enjoyed this practice and potentially learning something new about the yoga practice. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you found the practice. If you want to see more yoga philosophy threaded through, I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you haven't already, then you can check out our Patreon where we have longer classes, more exclusive content. So I'll leave the link for that down below. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you again sometime soon.